What is up? What's going on, Christian? Andrea, we're here back talking about how to prepare for settlement.
Hello, hello.
Hello, guys.
Yeah. All right, so first time on the show. Welcome.
Hello, thank you. Appreciate
Look at you
it.
go. Her voice is so great. I love it. Anyway, so what's up, guys? You're back. It's Mike Frank Oliver and Company, Berkshire Hathaway, coming to talk to you a little bit about how to prepare for settlement. Right? Before we run down that road, Dre, you're the new one. Introduce yourself. Let people know how to reach out to you if they haven't already gotten connected.
Hey, guys. My name is Andrea Soto. I am an agent with Frank Oliver and Company with Berkshire Hathaway as well. You guys can reach me via Instagram at Drea__Soto. You can also reach me by email at Andrea@frankoliverco.com or via text at 413-668-7776.
She made it. Anyway, all right. So, Christian, how can they reach out to you as always?
Christian the Deadhead on Instagram. TikTok is the Deadhead Realtor. Email Christian at frankoliverco.
And if you guys don't know already, you can always reach us at frankoliverco.com. You can reach us at frankoliverco on Instagram or at michaelfrank____.
Y'all are big with the underscores.
Yo, how many Michael Franks do you think there are?
Look, my shit got hacked. I needed to make a new one.
I'm the one and only Christian the Deadhead.
Right, for sure.
I had one underscore and then I had to make two.
Done.
One
Not
option
the
only.
OG.
Interesting little factoid. I went to school as like a third grader maybe, and I walked into school and the teacher was doing, attendance. Oh, Michael Frank. Oh, that's me, right? And she goes,
Present.
Oh, Michael David Frank. Oh, that's me. There were two of us.
Oh.
Two Michael David Franks. How, like, my parents
What
were just
odds?
like, common fucking one, common number two. Got it. Anyway, thanks, Mom. All right, so before we run down this road, if you guys haven't already, make sure you subscribe, link, follow, all the good things, and our homebuyer event coming up August 18th at Bar Cocina in Fells Point. So make sure you call
Come
all
out.
your people.
Yeah.
Because you're back. You're last in the group.
What do you mean?
You weren't at the dialing thing.
Yeah, but I have about 10 people signed up.
Seems like a made-up number.
Yeah.
Pull it up.
I can check.
Pull it up.
Verify.
Pull it up.
All right. So, with so much going into the path towards home ownership, everybody always asks us, what do they need to do to get ready for settlement? Like, it's 2 weeks out.
Take a Xanax.
Yeah, I was literally about to say, just take
Yikes.
a breath.
Yeah.
Take a breath. Everything's okay.
People just
It's-
freak out. Even I'm having conversations with people I have under contract now. It's 2 weeks out and they're freaking out about settlement.
Yo.
They're like, nothing's moving. Is everything okay? Is the house still there?
But also, like, the lender is giving them some numbers right now. And I'm like, we have 2 weeks until settlement.
Yeah.
Calm down. It'll
My
be
favorite one is when the buyer asks the lender, oh my God, Liv, I forgot about this.
I know we're gonna.
We're doing
It's
a pod.
literally for you.
Mike loves to throw things if you guys didn't know that.
Literally yours.
I want it.
All right, fine. Don't take it. I will take it back. Anyway, so we're 2 weeks out from settlement. The buyer asks the lender for final numbers. The lender issues the buyer final numbers. They're like wildly fucking not accurate. And then they come to me and they're like, I thought you said it was going to be 18,000, 47,000, 52,000, whatever the number is, or 4, right? Like whatever your situation is. And I go, yeah, why do you say anything otherwise? And they go, well, the lender told us it was going to be 27,000 and it's way more than we thought and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, well, did they like account for the closing costs paid for by the seller? Did they account for the grant that you're getting? Like, explain to me what's concerning here.
Dude, I have this conversation probably 3 times in the past week.
Yeah.
It's like just a broken record at this point.
Right, but I think it's really our broken record.
No, it is. It is.
Because
what
we're
we're
the
there
ones
for.
that are setting the expectation. So what I try to tell people is like, oh my God, here's what's going to happen in the next week.
Yeah.
And they're like, what? And I'm like, John's going to reach out to you. He's going to ask you for a title company, deposit, when you're available for a home inspection. We have 2 inspection companies. This. You have to pick a title company. We have 2 title companies. Here's why you would work with this one. Here's why you would work with that one. Blah, 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 blah. And they're like, okay, we have all those things to do. And I'm like, great. And then you're going to have nothing to do. And you're going to be calling me and you're going to be like, Mike, what's going on? And I'm going to be like, nothing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But you tell them nothing, and sometimes they create things. And they're
No.
like,
But the thing is that like I do that day one.
So do I.
So then like 3 weeks later, I'm like, I told you nothing. And they're like, what do you mean you told us nothing? And I'm like, I'm in the backyard playing with the dog. You know who you should be talking to? The lender. You know why? Because the lender is processing your file. And they're going through the underwriting process, and they're waiting for the title to come back, and they're waiting for the appraisal to come back, and all these different things. And it's 2 weeks away from settlement, and you're freaking out, and we've only been under contract for like 7 days. Calm down. So then Fast forward a week, and they're like, well, I waited a week. Now you told me to calm down. What do I do now? And you're like, nothing. Just wait.
I feel like that's what we're there for at the end of the day, is to comfort them through the process. So, I mean, I feel like if they come to you freaked out, like you didn't do your job of reaching out to them and making them feel comfortable about.
Yikes. I feel like she's just stabbing Christian under the table with
I mean,
a knife.
No, I'm just saying,
you
like,
didn't do your job.
I mean, I'm just saying.
All right, so my perception is that we are here to share with them, like, okay, this is the next step. So when you're 2 weeks out from settlement, the buyer should be doing what?
Just vibing.
Nothing. But the week of settlement, right? Like
Making
it's Monday.
sure they're not buying anything.
That's true. Or
No
quitting their
big
job
purchases.
or changing their job.
I know, it's exciting. You're like, oh my God, all these life changes. I need to go out and celebrate and buy a car. No.
No cars. But
No
the big one is
cars.
furniture. You go out shopping for furniture.
That's
They say, oh
true.
my God,
Yeah.
we'll put it 0%. You don't even have to pay for it
Yeah.
until August. And you're like, okay, like next year? They're like, yeah. You're like, oh, sign right here. And all of a sudden they pull that on your credit report and your lender denies your loan. So like, we don't want that.
No.
But a week out, Monday, settlement's Friday, what is the buyer going to do?
They're going to be asking you, in general, like when it comes to electric, water, like
Utilities. Yeah.
like they're going to, those are things that people need when they first.
Right. You got to transfer utilities. You want to put them in your name for the day of settlement.
Yeah.
3 days before settlement, you're going to sign the CD. That's the lender's issuing of the final closing disclosure, right? The CD is not going to be accurate, and you guys are going to be mad, and that's just how it works.
Just life.
Yeah, right. And then they're going to be, quote unquote, balancing the CD for like 8 days. You're like,
Yeah.
what are you doing? We were supposed to settle on Friday. We had a delay. Why are we still balancing the CD? It's annoying, right?
Yeah.
So the buyers have two options. Option number one, overpay. So you're supposed to bring $18,000, pay $20,000. Pay $20,000 today. You won't have to worry about it, and bring a check to settlement, and they'll issue you a credit back. Option number two, underpay. You think it's $18,000, pay $17,500, and bring a check to settlement.
Yeah.
That would solve all the problems. The biggest issue that we have, I think, is that a lot of people run like very close to their max.
Yep.
And putting out that extra $2,000 is stressful.
Yeah.
Just look at it as savings, guys. It's like less of a hassle. At the end of the day, you kind of put 1,000 or some change, and it comes back to you if it's,
Yeah.
if it's over.
Which is really funny because Andrea of like 1 year ago would be like, you think I have $1,000? Like, you think that I just have this thing around? But now today
Still.
she's like, wait, it is beneficial. It is
Yeah.
beneficial to find that extra money. And it makes your process so much less stressful,
Yeah.
right?
One last step.
Have you ever had people send like what amount they're supposed to send? Say it's 17,000, they still get a check back.
You're going to need to define that.
What do you mean?
Well, like
they have to
Like,
send
there's no-
17,000.
there's no
They send
overage.
17,000. Like they didn't purposely send anything over, and they
Right.
still get a check back. How often do you have that happen?
not common. Like, here's the first problem. The first problem is that 9 times out of 10, I'm going to run my numbers, and then I'm going to compare them to your lender, and then we're going to be pretty fucking close. So, like, if I say 18,400 and the lender says 17,600, we're fucking spot on. Because I'm including home inspection, appraisal, and some other fees. If the lender says 22,000 and I say 18, we have a problem. So, like, we know early on. So anytime there's a change in settlement costs, it's something that's known.
Right.
An example was I represented a buyer working through Maryland Mortgage Program, got tons of grants. She was supposed to buy the house for $4,000. When all was said and done, she only brought $1,500 to settlement. And she was like, well, how did this happen? Well, we got a credit from the seller during the home inspection process to pay for some of the repairs. This isn't like foreign to her, This is what we expected.
Okay.
I mean, in my mind, what I'm saying here is like, it's an anticipated change. It's not something that like, oh, we sent 17,000 because we thought it was going to be 18,600 and then all of a sudden they got money back. No, like we did the numbers early. We knew what the numbers looked like. We had an accurate estimate, but we might be inaccurate by a couple $100 because of an elevated water bill. We might be inaccurate by a couple $100 because of a special assessment on the tax bill. Or maybe the lender charged an additional fee for something that we were unaware of. That's common. And the problem is that it's an estimate. So like, even when my estimate is exactly the same number as my lender, as previous mentioned, 18.4 to 17.6, we're exactly the fucking same. if you look at it line by line by line, they're all different. Every single line is different, down to the wire transfer line. Mine might be $35 and theirs might be 40. It's an estimate. But when we're running estimates and we're getting pretty close, we're not off by thousands of dollars. I mean, maybe you are.
No.
I'm just saying.
Yikes.
No.
Yikes. Dun, 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 dun.
Talk about Ama.
What happened there? Oh, did she get money back? Yeah, that's a different
got
situation.
$400.
Yeah, that's a different situation. Because in that scenario, you're talking about a program that's running her to zero.
Interesting.
So like VA buyer can get money back at settlement.
That's kind of what I was like going at with that
towards.
Conversation.
Yeah,
But you
depending
like
on
you
your
were like
lending.
acting like you had never heard of such thing
Well, but I would know before we started.
because you don't go to settlements. It's okay.
Rude. No, I would know before we started. Right? So like if your buyer was to be sitting on limited funds, let's just say the VA buyer that can buy with 0% down is looking at spending $3,000. You know when you construct that offer that their estimated cash out of pocket is $2,700.
Right.
It could be a couple $100 more, it could be less, but you know it's $2,700. So then you go through the process. They put down a $1,500 down or earnest money deposit, so they're going to come to settlement with $1,200, give or take. What if you got a $1,500 credit from the seller? Well, now they're not coming to settlement for $1,200, and they're going to get $300 back, which is the aforementioned situation, compliments of Liv.
Okay. Yeah.
So I think the key is to understand, like, you're bringing the money to the table that the lender tells you to, but 2 weeks out, the lender's not going to tell you the right numbers.
No one's gonna have a clue.
So like Justin is under the contract and settling next week, and he asked me for numbers, and I give him numbers, and he asked me for numbers again, and I give him numbers again, and he asked me for numbers the third time, and he says, "Can you get them from the lender?" And I say, "Sure." So the lender sends us something that's like wildly inaccurate, like wildly. We're off by like $9,000, and I was like, "Wait a second." And I go line by line by line, and they're not even factoring in like title costs.
Yeah.
They're not even factoring in the credits from the seller accurately. They're not factoring in anything.
You know what's crazy? You remember Aaron Jones? I was freaking out all day about his transaction.
Aaron is the one that bought on Fate
Ave.
with who is the Matt Pecker.
Yeah, he was the listing agent.
Yeah.
The
Matt, if you're
lender didn't
listening,
even
shout
include like any of his taxes in the closing disclosure.
Yeah, I don't even know how that's legal.
I don't know. Aaron signed, and
okay,
then
so for anybody that's listening, this is not our preferred lender, right?
No.
Like, this is why you want to use a preferred lender. I can get with my preferred lender and say, "What's your numbers?" He's running numbers, I'm running numbers. We don't need a long, drawn-out conversation. We say, "This is the numbers."
Yep.
But in that scenario, that particular lender goes, like 4% of the purchase price.
Right.
And you're like, "What is 4%?" And they're like, "Well, 18,300." And you're like, "Yo, what are you charging for?" And then when you're out of alignment, it's because the lender doesn't even know what they're charging for.
Yeah.
So,
And also, he had like no idea about the CHAP tax program. They were struggling last minute to get all that information together.
Right.
And then we were supposed to settle at like 10 a.m. or something. We ended up settling at 7 p.m. at Courtney's apartment complex, but the numbers worked out. But then
If it works, it works.
the lender had to cover, I don't know, some amount of the taxes that he had missed, and then Aaron wasn't out of pocket like anything else.
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, the other piece of the puzzle here is that using a local lender, somebody that understands that CHAP tax program, somebody that's going to be able to give you that benefit is a true benefit to you, because they're going to walk you through the process. Like you said, it's about the service and the system that you build to get there.
That's your value that you bring at the end of the day,
In my opinion.
is being the resource of the resources.
The resource of the resources.
I like that.
You're the point of contact.
All right. So as we're preparing for settlement, you guys have done everything, right? You've connected the buyer to Jeff. By the way, Jeff just saved somebody $386 this weekend.
Yeah.
He saved Ben
Heard you
Larson
talking about
like
that in your life.
400 or 500, I think.
That's crazy. It's
Yeah.
just the difference of one affiliate company. I don't know how to define them, right? I don't want to be like one insurance company, but like one little thing can make a huge difference to your out-of-pocket expense, because that $386 is actually going to cost our buyer like $400 and some dollars at settlement, which he's not prepared for. When we're running estimates, we're not prepared for $147 a month in homeowners insurance for a teeny tiny little house.
Yeah.
But that's what his 1-800 company did. So anyway, we got homeowners insurance. We're going for the final walkthrough. What happens in the final walkthrough?
You check out the house.
We should call Heather. Call Heather.
Oh, she actually called me today.
Yeah,
asking what to do.
I'm aware.
What happened?
Oh, so our admin just puts together this really thoughtful message.
Really thoughtful. I saw it.
And it says, hey, you're going to get a calendar invite. This is what's going to be in the calendar invite. This is how you're going to access the house. This is what you're going to do. When the calendar invite says take the key with you, you're going to take the key with you. And then, by the way, you're going to come right to the office. Don't pass go. Do not collect $200. You're going to go right to the office for settlement. And then she gets a calendar invite. And the calendar invite has all the information.
Everything.
Like, hey, buyer, agent,
Yeah.
you're going to go for a final walkthrough. Today at this time, we're confirmed with the listing agent. We have the access instructions. We're going to go for the final walkthrough. And the agent is going to take the key from the lockbox and come to settlement so the buyer can have the key at settlement. And then Heather was like, how do I access the property?
Yeah.
It's in the thing.
Read your emails, guys. That's what you do when you wake up in the morning. Read your emails.
Mike wouldn't know what that
Especially if you have a settlement
Rude.
that day.
I at least know to read those emails.
is. Maybe.
But, so we're going to go for a final walkthrough. And what is the intention? What is the purpose of the final walkthrough?
Going through the property, making sure everything looks well. On the same as what you put the offer in.
Same marketable condition.
Same marketable condition.
That
That's
is
what
the technical term.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
You get
wrote
like a little
I wrote
clap
it down
going?
right here for
Little
him
clap.
to.
Is it this one? Yeah.
There we go.
There you go, Christian. Revel in it. Revel in it. There you go.
He's having a morning, guys.
Anyway, so we're checking to make sure that your property is in the same marketable condition it was at the time that you made your
Yeah.
offer.
And if there was any repairs, making sure that those are up to your standards, I guess.
Right. We're going to be bringing repairs receipts and making sure the repairs were done. The problem with up to standards, let's talk about that for a second, actually. That's actually one of the better features of this little piece. All right, so you are a real estate agent. You're working with a co-op agent, Liv, who is a real estate agent. And Liv has sent John, your admin, receipts from a licensed contractor that you, as the real estate agent, can verify the license is active, up to date, and proper. Mm-hmm. And then you go for the final walkthrough and you go, oh no! Right or wrong?
Wrong, I wouldn't do that.
Wrong. You know why? Because you don't have the license. And even if you do, for those of us that do, when you have what do they call it? A doctorate, a law doctorate, like when you've passed the bar exam. I don't know how you define that, right? Like if you're a lawyer, if you have an MHIC, if you have some other ancillary value that you can bring to the real estate process.
Ancillary? What is that?
Additional. Anyway, when you can do that in this capacity, you're a real estate agent. She's a real estate agent. He's a contractor. Even if you have an MHIC, you are not the contractor. Mm-hmm. You do not get to weigh in on the contractor's quality of work. Mm-hmm. P.S. You should have called me back yesterday. Rude.
Who was it?
Abby.
But that doesn't mean your client won't.
Well, right. But here's the thing. As an agent, our job is to take the receipt from a licensed contractor and verify that the work was done. Yeah. Like, hey, they did that. They did this. They did this. They did that. You guys are happy. We're happy. We're happy. It's in the marketable condition at the time we made the offer. Let's move on. Right?
Let's go.
Let's go. And then we're going to go to settlement. We're going to bring the key with us, which I don't know how she's going to rectify that, but I don't care.
I told her how.
Okay, good. So we're going to bring the key with us.
She didn't have the key?
No.
No, it said bring the key with you or take key with you.
Yeah.
And
I
she
told her
did
to
not
write
take
in
key
her
with you.
card too. So she's doing that.
Nice. So little things. But we're going to check those repairs receipts. We're going to check the repairs were completed and we're going to move on.
Get them receipts.
Right? As a seller, this is my personal opinion. As a seller, you can make repairs, but always prepare for the buyer to bitch and complain and whine like a 2-year-old. That's my opinion.
Yeah.
We ran into that at in Joe's property when we went to
Did
settlement.
the buyer do it?
Yeah, he bitched and complained.
About what?
So we had Joe, contractor Joe, scheduled to go out there and like clean the roof, but it had snowed
Oh, right.
like an incredible amount, and then it all froze on the roof. And we had him still scheduled to go out there and get it. We had a receipt for the invoice already. Maybe this is where the concern was, is that the work hadn't already been done, but a guy can't climb up on the roof and do all the work when it's frozen. And then the day of settlement came, they were like, oh, well, we didn't know it wasn't done. I was like, what do you mean? We told you we had it scheduled. We had the invoice. We paid everything already. Mm-hmm. And now, like the day of settlement, you want to bitch and complain that just because the roof is frozen, we can't go out and do the work. but we have it all documented. It's just waiting for the sun to come out and melt everything.
Right, but another option is to pay the buyer off.
Yeah, exactly.
And it sucks and it's stupid, but as a seller, it's like, hey,
and
focus on the thing that's important.
We talked about that the day of settlement, but I think we had to change all the numbers, or we had to go through some specific route, the closer said, to get that onto the settlement.
Because in order to credit the buyer, right.
It would have pushed settlement back maybe later that day, or maybe even the next day. And everyone was just like, oh, we kind of just want to do everything now. And then that's how we got to that.
Because then you're changing the CD and then you're changing, right? So it's a whole thing.
Yeah.
But I think the key is to make sure that all the repairs are completed. Work for your client, but don't get in the way of the transaction. And then go for that walkthrough and get to settlement. In the end of the day, everybody's so wrenched up about $1,000. Like, guys, you're spending $2, $3, $5, $7, $1 million plus, and you're worried about $1,000. We have a $500,000 deal that is going to court over $3,000. I don't understand it. And for me, I offered to pay it. And the buyer was like, no. I was like, I don't get it.
People just want to win and they want to have that control.
Yeah, that's all it is.
Sounds like someone.
And it's like, but the thing is, when you're buying a home where like having the biggest transaction, what?
What? No, yeah.
Nothing.
Transaction of your life. You know, do you really want to have that attached to this home that you're going to live in for 7+ years? Like, do you want to go through all this hassle and then know like, oh, when we were settling, like we made this big deal, we had to go to court for this home, and then now that idea of court is just permanently attached to this home that you, this place,
that you now live, right.
I had to fight for my home.
All right, so we're settled on all the final walkthrough things. We're settled on everything. What are we coming to settlement with?
Your ID.
Your ID. That's it.
That's number one.
Your coin.
That's really it. You should have already wired the money.
Mm-hmm.
If you wire...
And if you're talking to an agent, you should bring the
When
key.
you wire...
You don't have to wire. There are 2 options.
Okay, so option number 1. Let's go down this road.
Option number 1.
Role play real quick. Ring.
No, well, depending on, your quantity of how much you need to bring to settlement.
How much?
I don't know what the threshold is. Maybe it's like, is it 20?
1,000?
Yeah.
$20?
$20?
20,000.
20,000. 20,000. No, the answer is that you should be wiring your funds to settlement. For nothing else, you can get it done 4 days in advance, and it's so much nicer. But then on top of that, most settlement companies won't accept a cashier's check or a personal check anymore because they're worried about, all kinds of problems that can exist.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
In the situation that arose last week, we got away because he didn't need to bring the threshold that the title company had. So the title company in that particular situation is okay with a cashier's check up to $5,000, a personal check up to $1,500, and anything above that has to be wired. So had he owed $6,500, a cashier's check would not be accepted. The standard needs to be wire because it's easier for everyone.
Literally.
Mm-hmm.
Funny story, one of my very, very early transactions could have been my first transaction. I don't remember which.
I do not remember your first transaction.
It's
I
the
want to forget
same
my
dude.
first transaction.
We did forget your first
We're
transaction.
forgetting it. It doesn't exist.
It doesn't exist. It's the same dude. He's
The
bought
limit
a
does
couple
not
properties
exist.
from me, so I'm not sure if it was the first or his second,
okay.
but it was either the first transaction or the second one of his. His first transaction was my first transaction, so when. But anyway, so we're here. We're here for settlement. Settlement was at 6:00. We're good. He shows up, we sign all the papers, everybody's done, and the title company says, all right, I need your check. And he's like, well, that's going to be a problem. And we go,
my checkbook.
Why? And he goes,
Where's my checkbook?
I left it on my kitchen counter.
He goes, I don't think it's in my car. I think it's in my other car.
I think you told me this story.
And I was like, where's your other car? He's like, at home. And I was like, in Reisterstown? And he's like, yeah. I was like, 20 minutes. He's like, yep, I will be back.
I remember this.
And he left, and he came back with a $20,000 check, cashier's check that he had left in the glove compartment.
How do you just leave a $20,000 check?
But I mean, let's just say that you
I
go
get a
through,
check, for any amount, and I got that bitch on me 24/7.
Yeah, but let's say you go through some really stressful shit, right? Let's say you get into a car accident. Let's say you any kind of bad situation happens, right? And you have that check that you're bringing to settlement later that day or the next day. Doesn't that just add a layer of stress?
Yeah.
What if you just wired it? Just wire it. So the proper answer in this scenario would be contact your admin and ask him how much to wire and where to wire the money and send the money.
You
and
should
it'll be
create a
taken care of.
hashtag. Just wire it.
Just wire it.
Also, something that we don't have on here that I just thought about is taking the day off work.
YOLO.
Good point.
Like, I'm
good
surprised
point.
that it's not on here. You know,
Yeah.
People, they like either have to run to the bank to wire, they can't make the phone call, or they, get caught up in traffic and they have all this shit going on. They want to move in at the end of the night, then settlement's delayed, and that just adds so much more stress. Where if they just took off work, had the day to relax, and kind of had like a checklist of things to get done, and they could do it in a timely fashion, everything goes so much smoothly rather than, oh, Christian, I'm on my way, like I'm stuck in traffic,
Yeah.
like I
Expect
got all this
the
stuff going
unexpected,
on.
guys.
Yeah, like. This is such a big day in your life. Take the day off of work. It's going to be for a good reason.
Yeah.
So I think the kicker here is to make sure that your people
Are-
like communicate with their supervisor.
Yeah.
Right? Because if you don't communicate with your supervisor, there's a delay in settlement, something happens, and all of a sudden you took off work 3 weeks ago for this Friday, and now there's a delay, and I can't get off work next Wednesday. It's like, Biddy, just take off work next Thursday, and we'll settle next Thursday.
All right.
Like, calm down. I understand this is what happens. Or the other byproduct is maybe we don't schedule settlement at the end of the month because then we know that we're stressed and everybody's, in a stressful situation trying to get a closing.
At the end of the month, I'm not stressed.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not, but like the lender and the title company are.
I don't care.
That's nice
But
that
I'm
you're not stressed.
saying from the buyer's perspective, from the seller's perspective, they can do things to avoid it from the beginning when they issue that date
For
of
sure,
settlement.
for sure.
And then just prepare yourself that it's not going to go smoothly. It's the most stressful situation because you make it stressful, not because it is.
Now, when you're having these conversations, do you say, like, hey, this is what to expect? Or you could say, like, hey, this is what could happen. This is another thing that could happen. Or do you just tell them, like, best case scenario right off the start?
Me?
No, I don't.
Me personally?
Yeah.
Cool. If you guys want to settle on settlement day, you have one responsibility. And they go, what's that? I go, whatever you're asked for, do it that day. Don't wait 2 days. Don't make us ask twice. If you want to settle on settlement day, we need to do it that day. So whether it's a bank statement verification, whether it's something from your employer, whether it's money or wiring or otherwise, that day. No delays that day.
Okay.
And then if you do it that day, then you don't have a problem.
You're part of the team to make it work, guys.
I mean, it's your team.
Yeah.
We're just, you're the quarterback. We're like the coaches.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. Christian likes that analogy for some weird reason. Anyway, all right, so we're going to bring an ID. We're going to bring a check in case you need it. And we're going to bring keys. Keys come to settlement one way or the other, right? And then you sign your life away. And then what?
You're a homeowner.
That's it.
Woo!
That's it.
Yeah.
Body.
We party. We
party.
party. Nah, in the end of the day, now you own the home and you get to go do the heavy lifting, which is the physical moving, which sucks in the middle of the
That's
summer.
probably the worst part of it.
It is
Or
the
you
worst
could just
part.
hire a company, if you got it like that.
There you go. That's the kicker. It's stressful. People don't realize that they have to be out of their house when they sign to sell it. They realize that they can be in their house when they sign to buy it. Like, it's not that difficult, but for some reason people don't get that. Whatever. It's your house now.
Yeah.
All right. So, anything else, Miss Lady? Nothing? All right. So at this point, you guys have gotten to settlement. You've brought your ID. You've closed on your home. You move on. You take that obligatory settlement photo, and you might have some questions post-settlement. You're going to reach out to your real estate agent, your lender, and your title company. Do not send money to some online company because they sent you something in the mail.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't do that at all.
Right?
No-
Just work your people.
It's funny because, like, one of the most frequent questions I get after settlement is, hey, how do I pay my mortgage?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't know.
Reach out to your title
Yeah,
company.
like,
Yeah.
here's Ryan's number.
But I mean, it's the best thing to do is to reach out to your real estate agent. In the end of the day, they're going to be the ones that have the connection.
Yep.
Right? All right. So how are we going to reach out if they need to get in touch with you?
Christian the Deadhead on Instagram, the Deadhead Realtor on TikTok. You can go to our website, frankoliverco.com, and email me at christian@frankoliverco.com.
Dre, how are they going to reach you?
Hey, guys, you can reach me at Drea _.
Yikes.
At Drea __ Soto. And then email is andrea@frankoliverco.com.
Bet. And you can always reach out to us directly. You can PM, DM on every social media. You can reach out to me at michaelfrank __ at Frank Oliver and Co. Or you can reach out to us on on the website, frankoliverco.com. Yes, sir.
Nothing, just wanted
Nothing. Unmute myself.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
Let me
till
out.
next time, we'll see you guys
Bye,
real
y'all.
soon.
Later.